Okay, today we've got Nick Yeoman from the Brand Samurai here for our member spotlight. How you going, Nick?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good, mate. Good, good. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so now, Nick, your business is all on pretty much all online based, or a lot of it's online based. So, can you just run through what your business is for a start?
Sure. So I run a branding and marketing agency. Our focus is more on branding, obviously the brand Samurai. But we do a bit of marketing stuff in there as well. And our mission is to help 1 million coaches, consultants, agency owners through the power of branding. Um, yeah, so it's a big mission, but that's what we're moving towards,
Love
and
it.
trying to help people with education about what branding is, what it
Yep,
isn't, and how it can help impact your business.
yep. No, that's it. So branding, a lot of people don't realize that how important branding is in your business. It can pretty much make or break your business. And a lot of people don't understand that. So no, that's good. I like that goal. That goal, 1 million.
It's
That's an awesome goal. I love it.
it was one of those things I read. If your goal it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not big enough. So
Yep. Yep.
I think that's just on the right number.
Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So now whereabouts are you based, mate? Even though you're
Um,
online.
yeah, so it is online, but I'm based in New South Wales, country New
Yep.
South Wales. It's about 3 hours west of Sydney in a
Yep.
town called Bathurst, which is
Ooh,
some people might, yeah, it's a small place.
oh,
That's one of the beauties of having an online business is that you can meet, collaborate, and work with people all around the world.
yep. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right. Now what just briefly, what drove you to start this particular business?
Ooh, briefly.
Oh,
um,
well, it doesn't have to be briefly, but yeah, sort
it
of.
it evolved organically, I suppose. I was involved in a crypto scam actually, and I lost about $60,000.
Oh,
Um, which, when you don't have a business and you're a single income household with two kids, that's a
mm,
lot of money.
oh yeah.
Uh, so we were actually about 2 days from being homeless because of that. We were in a pretty dire situation. And I started mowing lawns because I was like, this is the only thing I really know how to do. I'll mow lawns. Um, and I was approached by another guy online who said, "Hey, I heard about your issues. Have you thought about building websites for people? It's very low cost. You can make a lot of money doing it, and it'll help you get back on your feet." And I thought, oh, here we go, another scam. So I was very dubious about it, but he was a very kind man who taught me how to build websites. I didn't know anything about it. He taught me how to build websites. I got a couple of clients. The first was I built a website for my own mowing business, which helped enormously. Um, he taught me about that. Then he taught me about driving traffic to the websites that you build so you can add that as another service. Um, and I got to sort of a fork in the road where people were asking me about, can I build their website? And they were asking me to mow their lawns. And just at this time, it was coming into winter in Canberra where I was living at the time. And I had this choice. Do I want to continue to pursue sort of a digital online business where I can stay inside and it be heated, or go out and mow people's lawns in the winter and the cold and the snow? uh, so I made the decision to follow that.
Yep.
And then, it was sort of a natural progression. People said, I want a website. We'd build them a beautiful website. It looked really good. Didn't do anything. So it didn't change anything for their business. And for a lot of people, if they felt it was a waste of money,
Yep.
I felt bad because of that. So then I started looking into things like I said, directing traffic to people's websites, how implementing the website as part of a larger marketing funnel can help to increase revenue. So they're seeing a return on it. And ultimately it landed with people coming to me and saying, "Hey, I want a website." I'd say, "Okay, have you got a brand?" And they said,
Mm,
"No, no, I haven't done any brand or anything like that." Okay, well, we need to start there because that's the inception, that's the genesis of the entire sort of chain, which will lead to you getting results and growing your business and more clients and more freedom and all of the things that you want, we need to start at the start. Um, and so I ended up doing this for about 12 to 18 months. I was building brands for people before building them a website without charging for it. And then my mentor at the time said, this is crazy. You're doing all of this extra work and you're not charging for it. Why aren't you, saying that you build brands and doing that? So it started with web design, then went to marketing. Now we're in branding. So
Yep. Cool. Very good. Very good. So how long have you actually been doing this now? The brand samurai. How long?
I've been doing this part for about 3 years. I was
Yep.
doing web design and digital marketing for about 3 years prior to that. So my company has been going for 6 years now, six
Yep.
years, and the branding side of it about 2.5, 3.
Yep. No, cool. Now, I love ever since I've seen it, I love the actual name of it. What's behind the name? Obviously the brand, like the brand part of the brand samurai, we
Mhm.
know what that is, but the samurai part. You
Sure.
want to share that with us?
Yeah, so my other passion outside of,
Mm.
helping people build their business and build freedom, is martial arts and in particular karate. So
Yep.
I've been training, teaching, studying, and competing in karate. I've got a couple of certificates there, um, for well over 20 years. So
Yep.
that it's like my life work is
Yep.
that. And I thought, how can I, outside of, just teaching martial arts, which I've done for quite some
Yep.
time, how can I implement that as a part of what I do? And then there's the physical aspect of, the martial arts, and then there's the philosophical side of it. And so, the integrity, respect, courage, honor, compassion, and honesty, that code, which is Bushido, the code of the samurai,
Yep.
is what I have implemented in my life and in my business. And that was reinforced, being a victim of this scam.
Yep.
Having integrity in the way that you deal with people and everything like that is so important. So I wanted to implement that, and I thought rather than doing it in a subtle way, let's just do it outright and call it the brand samurai. This is us. This is what we do. And so I built my brand around that.
Yep. Cool. No, very good. Now, because as I say, like I personally knew where that come from, but I thought no, it's a very interesting story behind it. I think, yeah, you've sort of combined a lifelong passion in a sense with a new passion. You've sort of combined them combined them in the name as well, which I love.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that
sorry.
was a really powerful thing for us. Well,
Mm.
for me personally, because it's also the thing that sets us apart. That's why you've got all these different people who do branding, but none of them can do what I do the way that I do it,
Yeah,
and that's why.
yeah. No, that's the go. No, that's fantastic. All right. Now just a couple other questions that we have that we usually run, which are around like different struggles and what have you. You've probably covered a little bit of this anyway.
Mhm.
But have there ever been moments where you felt like throwing in the towel during this business? And if so, what's kept you going?
Sure. Um, Late last year, actually, I was lucky enough to go and see Gary Vaynerchuk when he was in
Yep.
Sydney. And I got to meet him and ask him a question. And the question I asked, because we all had the opportunity to ask a question, I couldn't think of anything. I thought I've got this one question that I can ask. Oh, it better be good.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I froze at the microphone and I was like, oh. And then this question came out, which I don't remember formulating, but
Yeah.
it was, I'm trying to build this business so that I can provide the kind of life that I never had for my kids. I want them to have the kind of life I never had. I'm doing all of this for them, but at the same time, it's taking me away from them. How can I justify these two things? Because I'm so torn between, I'm spending all this time and energy investing into the business, but it feels like I'm trying to juggle these two things where I'm doing it for them, but at the same time, it's taking me away from them. And so that's got to be the biggest struggle. And I think anyone who is going through this journey, this path of entrepreneurship at the same time as trying to raise children. That is an incredible, almost conflict of interest. And so every time that I've ever thought about, throwing in the towel and giving it up, it's too hard. It's because of them that I want to continue.
Yep.
It's because of them that I go through the struggles that I go through and the things that I go through, and I endure because I know at the end of the day, the idea of, and I lived this life before when I was working in corporate and that sort of thing. My daughter had a music recital, her first ever music recital, and I had to apply for leave, and someone had to give me permission. They said no, I couldn't go. Um, and it broke my heart not being there for her on her day. And I said, this is unacceptable. I will
Yep.
find a way, whatever it is, I will find a way to be there for my kids when they need me. And the best way is through this entrepreneurship where we're helping other people build a life where they can have the same freedom that we enjoy,
Yep.
and we get to enjoy it. And
Yep.
it's not for us, it's for someone else.
That's it. No, absolutely. No, that's awesome. Very good. Very good. Um, okay, so now these questions I've got here, they sort of flow into each other a little bit. Now, how have you managed to maintain motivation, like daily motivation or weekly, or however you want to put it,
Mhm.
on your business journey? Because we all get to those points, like, we've all thought about throwing in the towel at one point or another,
Mhm.
but we also need something to keep us motivated.
Yeah.
So, how have you managed to maintain that motivation?
So I think motivation, the way you think about motivation, I think we need to shift that. Staying motivated is not necessarily the answer, staying disciplined is. And I
Yep,
learned this through, all the time
yep,
teaching. I've taught this with students. Rule number one, show up. That's
yep,
it. Show up. If you show up, you're already there. You might as well put in some work.
yep,
Okay. If you continue to do that day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not, you will progress. Full stop, period, no questions. You will progress. On the days that you're motivated, you put in more effort. Fantastic. On the days that you're not motivated, you do as much as you can.
yep,
That's discipline. And it's the discipline that is going to get you where you want to go.
yep.
Being motivated, instead of that being the goal, some days you're going to feel motivated and some days you aren't. And that's just the nature of it.
Yep.
The focus should be more on the discipline, which is going to get you the result, regardless of how you feel about it. So
Hmm.
I don't know if that
No,
quite answers your question, but
no, like, as I love that, your view of it, like, because everyone's got a different view on things and everyone has a different answer for things. That's why we do this and pretty much ask a lot of the same sort of questions, because everyone's got a different aspect of it. So no, that I love that. Like, it's like, you're right. I agree entirely. It's more about discipline than motivation. Like, if you're not disciplined, that's not going to help any motivation at all. Yeah, you got to have that self-discipline for a start. I do agree with that. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So, um, all right. So, looking back on your business journey, is there anything that you think you would have done different?
yeah, assuming, let's say, that I could go back knowing what I know now,
Mm.
I would have started with branding.
Yep.
um, the natural sort of evolution of my business has been, we started websites, which is like an end result.
Yep.
And then it was, how do we get people to the website? You need to market it. So that
Yep.
comes before the website. How does marketing work? You need branding. That comes before marketing.
Yep.
So if I could go back then, knowing what I know now, I would have just started at the start and done it in the correct order.
Yeah.
I sort of, through a very painful process of trial and error,
Mm.
figured it out as I went along, and eventually got
Yep.
to my happy place. Um, I would have just started there to begin with.
No, fair enough. Now, look, 'cause quite often we do that. Like, I think we've all done something along those lines. Like, started where at a place we should have started like gone to after. So, but
Yep.
no, that's fantastic. Um, okay, I do know the answer to this one, or the first part of it. Now, do you have or ever had a coach or a mentor? I do know you are in the business coaching program that I'm in as well.
Mhm.
Do you find it extreme? Like, do you find it valuable?
Absolutely. It's similar. As I said, I draw a lot of parallels between business and martial arts. You can't learn karate from a book. You can't.
No.
Can't be done. You can't learn to ride a bike from reading a book. You can watch a YouTube video on it. You can, however it is that you want to get the information, you can get it. Implementing it is an entirely different story. Can you imagine if you've never ridden a bicycle before, you watched a YouTube video, you read a book, you jumped on a bike, are you going to ride it? No, you're probably going to fall off. That's part of the process. If you fall off 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you eventually, if nobody told you this is a part of the process and you will get it, the natural inclination is to say, hey, this isn't for me. I'm not a kind of person who rides a bike. Maybe I'll go try something else. And you'll never do it, ever. So having a coach who's there, or a sensei or a mentor, someone who's in that position to who's walked the path and is at the end and can guide you along the way, is invaluable. It's the difference between making it and not. It's that serious.
Yep. No, cool. I love your analogy of that, like the riding the bike bit. Is yeah, it makes perfect sense. Then, like as you know, like I'm in the business coaching program as well, and yeah, you can tell people all you like that. Yeah, the benefits of the coach, but we put it in an aspect like that, like it actually probably would resonate with people a little bit more. So, no,
Well,
love that.
it's the same thing. People try business. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to try this business," and they fail.
Yep.
Oh, most people stop there. Most. Some people try again and they'll fail, and then most of those people stop. How many times did you fall off a bike before you figured it out and could actually ride?
That's it.
It's that's the thing. You need someone there who can say, "This is what you're doing. This is what you need to be doing," you know,
Yep.
and give you that guidance, give you that feedback so that you can ride the bike, so that you can run your business, so that you can achieve your goals.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. Like I've had that in the past myself where I've been in business, it hasn't worked. And back in the past, yep, you do what you normally do when something doesn't work. You blame everything but the actual core problem, which is yourself, not knowing. And yeah, ever since I've actually got business coaches, like started working with business coaches myself, yeah, things are a lot better. You don't lay blame on everything but the main problem, which is yourself. If things aren't working, it's on you, not others. And that's where a coach does help you, I believe. I mean, a lot of those aspects, they guide you from their own learnings as well. It's,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, not fantastic. Okie dokie, just looking at these questions because we've answered a few of them, sort of thing there. All right. So, what advice would you give to somebody who is thinking about or just starting out in business?
Hmm. There's a little phrase. It's dream big, start small, connect the dots, in that order. So dream big. You have to know what it is that you're trying to achieve. What does it look like for you? You need to have that vision. You need to have that purpose, which is going to drive you in those times when things are hard. For me, it's my children. For someone else, it'll be something else. But you need to have it, whatever it is. You need to have that thing to strive towards, to push you forwards. So start there. Start with a fantastic, massive, unimaginable sort of vision about what this thing is that you want to build. And then start from where you are, wherever you are, with whatever you have. Just start. So many people put it off, put it off, put it off until, you know, the prime time for them to have started is years and years and years ago. Some people decades ago. Start now. Start now with what you have, wherever you are. There's something that you can do, whether it's, you know, picking up a book or starting to attend lectures or seminars or whatever, and then start that business. Start whatever it is that you want to do. Start building it, and then you build the bridge as you cross it. and the people who are there who can help you will appear. When you get to that challenge and you're like, oh, I can't really overcome this, the guide will appear. It always does. I can't explain why that happens. It's just one of the ways that the world is set up, I suppose. But in my experience, when you get to the problem that you don't have the resources or the knowledge to overcome, the person who does will appear.
Yep.
But you have to have the courage to take that first step and continue taking steps.
Yep. No, perfect. So, all right. One last thing. Now, you did touch on this, which I would dare say I know the answer to this, but what would be your biggest why? If, like you touched on it before, you mentioned your kids. I take it that, like, from what I've sort of known of you, your kids and your family are a big why. Is there another why behind you, or is it mostly your sort of family and your kids?
So that's a big part of it. There's another one which is a bit more personal and a little bit more selfish, which
Hmm?
is a story I heard from another mentor, and it was the three deaths a person has. Have you heard that story before?
No, I haven't.
So every person dies three deaths. The first one is when your heart stops beating. That's it, life's over.
Hmm.
The second one is when your body has decomposed. You're physically not a part of the world anymore. And the third one, and this is the most important one, is the last time any human ever speaks your name.
Okay,
What
interesting.
kind of legacy are you going to create? So, for example, there are people from the 1500s who died, their body decomposed, nobody spoke of them ever again. There are people in the 1500s like William Shakespeare who still lives on to this
Yep.
day through the legacy of work that he created in the
Yep.
time he was here. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
They're immortalized through the work that they've done, and the world has been changed because of it.
Yep.
Now, for some people, that's going to be a bit too much, and for other people, they're going to resonate with that and say,
Oh,
I want to be remembered, and I want to be remembered for this. So I want to, through my life work, create a legacy on the world where other people who are in a similar position to me, they might be parents who want to create a life where they can be present for their children during their childhood and creating a business that allows them the freedom to do that. If I can influence people's lives long after I'm gone to give them the freedom that I wanted when I was here, then that is a noble pursuit.
mate, that is awesome. I've never heard that, but that makes perfect sense, and yeah, I can fully understand that, what you're saying there. And yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it because I've never 99% of the time, people will say that their biggest why is their kids or family. And as say, like leaving a legacy, but you've just taken leaving that legacy to a whole new level in my eyes. Like, yeah, put it into a whole new perspective. No, that's brilliant. Yeah, very brilliant. So, all
Well,
right. Sorry.
that leads into our mission of helping a million people. I don't
Yeah.
even know a million people. There's no
No,
way I could do that without touching the lives of other people and then have them continue my mission for me. Whether
yeah,
they know it or not is
yeah,
a different thing, but ultimately it all leads into the same mission and the same vision and legacy.
yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I love that whole explanation of that. That's really good. All right, well, mate, we'll wrap it up there. So, if anybody is looking for some really top-notch branding, to go, like, to fix up your website, to fix up your whole online presence, to really kick off your business, reach out to Nick. He is brilliant with it all, and he very genuine guy. So he's more than happy to help. As you said, he's in New South Wales, but primarily based online. So yeah. So anyone needs all that, reach out to Nick at the Brand Samurai, and his socials will be in all these posts. So yeah, you'll be able to find him. So, righto, Nick. Thanks very much for that, mate. Really appreciate you taking the time to jump on this.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Cheers, bud.